Welcome back to another episode of Asra Reacts. I'm your boy Asra, and today we are getting right back into this American Indian versus Native American. It looks like the battle is over. They don't want any more. They're on the ropes and they can't take it anymore. They can't take the truth. They can't take the truth. They can't take the truth. Nah, for real though, it's like they're on the ropes. They on the ropes. It's over. They're losing this battle. This battle is done. It's down, Frazier. They're going down. They even admitted it themselves. Hey, I'm not even gonna talk a lot. We just gonna hop straight into these videos. So if you liking what I'm bringing, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe because every little bit helps. And I thank you guys so much. But let's go ahead and hop in.
You know, it be blowing me when people get under my comments and try to debate with me about the lineage of the melanated people of Americas. Because y'all can say what y'all want when y'all reading them history books that was given to y'all, but one thing they can never deny is the DNA that they leave behind. Yeah. In the 1600s, the French came here and colonized with the Native Americans. You know who have obvious French lineage? All of the black people along the Gulf Coast. And I'm not just talking in Mississippi, because if you ever been to Louisiana, them motherfuckers is Creole, real live Frenchmen. And it's full of them there. That's like all really the proof you fucking need. Because them not Native Americans, them are black people with French lineage, Creole. Just like the people in Haiti, just like all of motherfucking Florida. But if you go to South Alabama, South Mississippi, baby, those are Frenchmen. My own family lineage has French. One thing you can never deny is the DNA that was left behind. Because if y'all was procreating with the Native Americans, and why all these black people down here got French lineage? And mind you, this was after Columbus, before the transatlantic slave trade. Thank you. Matter of fact, look at my mama.
To my fellow Black Americans, we're gonna have to start gatekeeping. Yeah, we're gonna have to. These people done lost their damn mind. Juneteenth really showed me something. These people done lost their everlasting mind. Yeah. There's a sense of entitlement, and it's on another level. I don't know if it's because our ancestors made it so easy to come here in this country. And even that, we fought so hard and we literally get slapped in the face. We fought our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears. Then they come here and they think that they can redefine our history without actually knowing or understanding it. Telling a Black American that the term Black American, or that's it's not real. We are real. We are an ethnic group. We've been in this country. I have well over 5 generations here. We have to bring back gatekeeping. There's no way that we would be able to do this to anyone else's culture. But because they come here, they think it's okay. Because their parents and their grandparents came here, they think it's okay. It's a problem. It's a problem. And I hate to bring it to this, but it's an issue.
I would just urge those who want to have a second forum to keep your eye on the issue here. The issue is that the individuals in these groups do not have Abenaki ancestry. They have great stories.
Who determines that?
Because I've actually
Who determines that?
I actually did the genealogies of every single family that they claim in their own documentation. And there's no Abenaki ancestors. That's it. That's the story. You had a flawed process that recognized people who have no Abenaki ancestry, and now you have individuals who are upset because of that, because there's a possibility that that truth will come out. But that was never part of the process. I have all of the documents. You can access them yourself. This is a serious problem that you've engaged in.
Ingenuity. Racist America can't finish a tweet, a TikTok, marketing campaign, or a late night show without using AAVE. And let's set the record straight in the beginning. There is no such thing as Gen Z lingo. Let's also make it clear that racist Americans have clowned and insulted Black Indigenous Americans for the very things they're obsessed with now. They have called the coded language that Black people created broken English, ghetto slang, and uneducated. But for some reason, they can't get their thin lips to stop imitating the vernacular. Racists have always motioned that AAVE is improper. Yet, we can't get them to part ways with FAFO, as if they used that saying in common language before Black people introduced them to the saying. Now they've made it their entire online identity.
Girl, because she is not one of them. Yeah, fuck you talking about. Missus put that shit on. Fuck you talking about.
The obsession is pathological at this point. It's linguistic theft in broad daylight. Racist America doesn't just steal Black Indigenous language, it feeds on it. It watches every syllable, every cadence, every phrase that sparks electricity in Black mouths, and rushes to repurpose it with the same crack jaw it used to laugh at them. They ban it from classrooms. They flag it in job interviews. They even weaponize it in courtrooms. Then turned around and made it a brand aesthetic. Racists have created a system for their theft broken down into 3 simple steps. Step 1, they ridicule you, saying things like, "You sound dumb," or "That's not real English." Talk proper. No matter the generation, every Black Indigenous kid had to experience the hatred for simply falling in line with creation. Step 2, they rebrand your content and speech, coming up with ways to justify their theft, saying things like, "It's just internet lingo. It's Gen Z language. It's stan culture." Suddenly saying, "Period, sis. It's giving. No cap. I'm dead. Say less," as if that's how they normally speak. Step 3, they profit. They turn your language into a product. They fully engulf themselves in exploitation, salivating at the opportunity to make millions off of something that they found. The thing that they have most in common with their ancestors. White influencers build careers speaking in tongues they never grew up with.
It's time to get to the money and stack that shit like cups of lean. The fuck? Anyway, Fashion Nova's on my body. Turn that shit off.
CEOs hire agencies that run ads that drip with stolen flavor. Brands will slap vibe check on a hoodie while arresting Black Indigenous youth for threatening speech, all because they asked, "Why are you stopping me?" AAVE isn't a trend. It's a living technology. Black Indigenous people crafted an entire speech under surveillance. It's rhythm and science encrypted inside grammar. AAVE is not a cute filter that you use to mask your bland existence. You don't get to use it for clout and then panic when Black Indigenous people speak it authentically. A white TikToker using AAVE gets brand deals. But a Black Indigenous person using the same exact words gets labeled aggressive, unprofessional, or a threat. You didn't invent its giving. You just heard it from someone that you ignore in real life. You're not fluent. You're parasitic. Black speech isn't your accessory. It's a weapon you repackaged as content. You don't speak like them just because you grew up in their neighborhood. You perform like them. There's a difference. If you're not defending Black people, don't you dare try to sound like them. It's not internet culture. It's Black genius under a 200+ year siege. So the next time you say "on God," ask yourself, what God taught me that? All right, racists, let's talk about your obsession with Black language ingenuity. Racist America.
Times you don't want to learn. You just want to play victim like my white mommy. Every time you guys are called out, every time somebody makes a point, it's like they don't have to be attacking you and you're still going to play victim. We know that. There have been 4 or 5 lynchings. I'm not quite sure anymore because the number keeps going up. In this community, making memes against right now. And y'all talk about the Native American genocide. You want to play victim right now. But that genocide was not people who looked like you. You get it, Missy? They were darker. They were the people that your people removed from Native American genocide. And then they will reclaim. called African. You know they are reclaiming their American Indian status and receiving the reparations that your community has been stealing from the children of slaves. And those children of slaves are still facing the same hate crimes they faced 50 years ago. So pardon me if I am not receptive to this performative victim playing. I can't stand it. I can't. That's me putting it politely. It pisses me off. Yeah, bad things happen on reservations. And yeah, the government obviously doesn't give a shit about them. So I don't know why you're fighting us, and I really don't know why you're fighting them. You did the government's dirty work for them, and they gave you the short end of the stick. My response to y'all is the same response I have to the Koreans and Japanese. Do you think being their obedient dogs is gonna get you a cookie? No. Every time y'all have a movie star, they go missing, man. They're hate crimed, man. The government doesn't share shit with y'all. They put you in little traps on those reses, man, where they knew y'all would be easy to corrupt, easy to infiltrate. They did to your reses what they did to China. I have empathy, but I'm not gonna believe your fucking lies. Y'all did not walk from Africa to America. Stop it. Just like I'm not gonna believe the lies that America told me about China so that I could play the model minority here in America. I physically can't fucking do it. Knowing they lied to me about everything. This is how y'all should feel, but instead you want to take it out on other victims of this lie. That's why I'm harsh. That's why I'm mean. It ain't for no reason. Y'all don't need to play victim to anybody except for the people that victimized you. And on a real serious note, man, because you've been here a few times, you don't want to learn. You just want to play victim.
What is going on with Africans between African Americans?
All right, I'm gonna start from the beginning. It goes all the way back to the 1500. Oh shit, my weed controller I've been looking for since last night. Let's see if I still got it. Yes! Strike, baby! Let's see if I can get 3 strikes in a row. Wait, what was the question again? What the fuck? I forgot, man.
Strange people telling me, you're not Mayan, you don't have indigenous heritage.
Well, maybe you should listen, because the Mayans had nothing to do with you. I promise you. Welcome to the cookout. It's too easy. First of all, this is the Bonampak mural in Mexico, ladies and gentlemen, which clearly depicts who the Mayans were, the originals to that land. Shall I move my head so you can clearly see my ancestors' greatness? Look to the left. You see that music? That sweet sound. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That jazz, baby. Them trumpets and trombones, y'all, and saxophones. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Stop trying to get in where you don't fit in, because you definitely don't fit in when we talking the original Americans. The copper-colored race, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the copper don't lie.
About the Father's business and understand that they are no longer a dead people, that they are the indigenous Americans of Turtle Island, and they're here to stake their claim. You can't hide the truth no more. In Shatta, here we come, here we come. You can't hide the truth no more. In Shatta, get the white night. And for you Native Americans, stay out our business. We're not talking to you unless you want to talk about how the 5 civilized nations helped capture the other Native Americans and the indigenous Americans. Yeah, you sold out your people and you sold out our people, and y'all still selling out your people. How many Native American tribes are impoverished right now while the rest of y'all sit high on the hog? Let's talk about that, since y'all want to jump in comments. In Shatta. I let my glory rise. Push through. Yes, and you push.
This is what y'all fight for?
Yes. Because, what? Peace and love and unity, where has that gotten us? except a bullet to the cranium and Martin Luther King's head in that hotel in Memphis in 1968, right? Or the CIA setting up and unaliving Fred Hampton, right? Rodney King getting beat the hell on in front of the world. Cops got away with it. What has that done for us? What has being nice done for us? You mean to tell me as a man, you would just let your child just get unalived and you do nothing about it? You would just kiss up to white people and just walk up to a white cop and be like, it's okay, white sir, I forgive you. Nah, bro, I think the black community is done being nice. I think the black community holistically is done taking orders from everybody, being guilt tripped into being the bigger person, whether it be the pro-Pally movement, whether it be Trump supporters, whether it be COONs like you, everybody from every which way, corner, whatever, wants to tell the 92% and the 83% what to do and how to feel and how to react. And I think we're tired of it. So yeah, Rodney is a hero because he is the physical embodiment of the frustration of our people the past 400 years bottled into one pissed off dad who just lost his son. And we just seen the body cam footage. That boy was murdered. So the same energy you got for everybody sticking up for Rodney, have that same energy after watching that little boy get unalive unjustly. You better make a video literally showing that same energy. Or you just doing this for money. You were just doing this for money. Go ahead, prove me wrong, prove me right, do whatever you want. But you doing this for a coin and it's weird.
You know what? You might be right. When you can do stuff like this, you know, it's easy. Now, see, I just dropped it on the ground. I was going to take a bite. But I just dropped it on the ground, so I'm going to rinse it off. And when you can do stuff like this in your own backyard, it's real hard to lose weight, sir.
Chapters unfolding within a Western Washington tribe. Dozens of members have been told soon they will no longer belong.
For many, it's not just a loss of benefits, but a loss of identity, family, and history. King 5's Facing Race reporter Sharon Yu shows us how the move is tearing the community apart.
Well,
Sharon.
Jessica Joyce, some Squaxin Island tribal members got a letter summoning them to a hearing to prove they had the documents to show they really are Squaxin. If they couldn't, they were out, and unfortunately many didn't have the documents or their documents did not match the one in the official records.
This is a different letter that came from my great-grandmother.
Sally Brownfield's home in Shelton proudly displays her roots.
This was my great-grandmother, Mary Frances Smith.
Family pictures on the wall show where she came from, and tribal decorations show who she is.
I go by my great-grandmother's name, Saspalitza.
A proud Squaxin Island tribal member.
Well, I was told by the old people that it meant like weaving.
But now, with a single letter, her tribe erased her identity. Is there your name on there?
Yeah, my name is...
She had 30 days to prove.
Right here.
She's a descendant of people listed in the tribal rolls and is at least 1/8 Squaxin. Sally was told she was not.
Have you been able to gather the documents to try and re-enroll and try and prove that you belong to this tribe?
We have the documents, yes.
And it proves that you are Nooksack?
In our eyes, yeah.
Did you ever think that you would have to do all of this just to...
No, not at all. When your grandparents say, you know, you're from a certain area, this is who you are, this is where you belong, you believe them. And having to find documents to prove that, you know, it's kind of demeaning.
Donald Trump said y'all not the real Indians, and you want to know what he was talking about? He was talking about the black Indians. That's what he was talking about. You guys need to do your research more. He was talking about black mixed natives not looking like us. Really, that's what Trump was talking about. So look into that.
Y'all offended because I said fuck Black History Month, but y'all ain't offended by a nigga trying to fake a revolution in some goddamn bell bottoms. And some goddamn bell bottoms. Talking about some crip walkers is a part of our culture. Tribal dancing is a part of our culture. The Crips and the Bloods, that shit was planted. Fuck is y'all talking about? That shit was planted so the black militia will stop fighting white people. Will stop fighting America. So they have to turn us the fuck against each other. What the fuck you think the whole significance of Tupac and Biggie was? So we could turn against each other. Come on, man. We ain't black. We're not African American. He's up there celebrating African American history. We're indigenous to this fucking world. Ain't no real nigga trying to get his people together finna stand up there and strut around in some goddamn bell bottoms with sellouts He said he was Uncle Sam. She did the crip walk and went home to her white husband. Whole time her sister got killed by Crips. But you crip walking? Bitch, where your loyalty, ho? You ain't got no loyalty to your family, bitch. What the fuck make you think you got loyalty to us? Come on, man. We ain't black. We ain't African American. And if you used your fucking common sense, you would understand they trying to control the revolution. They see we waking up. They see we know who we are. They're trying to control it. And if you also, like I said, used your common sense, you would have been offended by your ancestors dancing in red, white, and blue, knowing that what that shit stood for. Y'all offended by the Confederate flag. Y'all need to be offended by them flags. Fucking period. Fuck is y'all talking about? If you was using your common damn sense, you would have asked yourself a long time ago, why do other races like the song? Why do other races love that song so goddamn much? If it really was meant for us, and saying, y'all not like us, y'all not like us, y'all ain't indigenous to this world like us, y'all ain't neuromelanated like, if the song was really meant for us for real, they would have been offended. Taylor Swift dancing, getting down to that beat. And y'all think that song for, man, y'all better, y'all really showing who the fuck y'all is. That's all I got the fuck to say. Y'all really don't do no type of research. Y'all really don't think no deeper. They're trying to make the revolution into a media revolution. Just like they did with every fucking thing. Black Lives Matter, people were marching, right? Now, when shit happens, people post. Free Sandra, or whatever. They're trying to make the revolution into a media revolution. So that way nobody is moving. Like I said, they're trying to control it. Please. I beg you. Use your common sense. Because the shit is getting old. I'm so tired of seeing this nigga down my timeline. And y'all trying to treat this nigga like a king. Whole time he worked for the same that Drake worked for. And who Drake is. They not suing this man. This man is getting paid to be the downfall. Come on, man. Let this shit fall. The education system is falling. Everything is falling. Let it fall. And stop trying to uphold their system. They're using y'all. Oh my God. Didn't Caesar say that in order to control the people, all you gotta do is like have a circus or some shit? The Super Bowl is the circus. Basketball is the circus. Media is the circus. Whatever they can use to distract y'all, y'all just falling for it. And it's like, all skin folks ain't kin folks. I'm really starting to see that shit in y'all because y'all real deal not looking deeper. And I'm not talking about occult knowledge because everybody don't understand symbolism. And I get that. Sometimes that has to be explained. But common sense should not have to be explained. We all know our grandmamas did not talk about slavery. None of them did. None, and I can say that confidently. None of our grandparents passed down slave stories. Why? And our great-grandparents. Why? They was born in the early 1900s. Slavery ended in 1865. Don't you think they would know something? Because they mama and them grew. Come on. Why ain't nobody passing nothing down? They all talked about us being the Indians. My grandmother never talked about no goddamn slavery. She always talked about us being Cherokee. She always talked about the Indians. And she lived like them too. What? Come on, man.
They tried to villainize us with everything. I'm just about to go back to speaking jive. You can have a twitch or go get a switch because I'm always gonna be that bitch. All fun under the sun. This ain't no pun, but it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Black folks are fucking poets. Bring that back. Bring jive back because I will speak like that in my regular everyday life. I already do. Kinda. There ain't a bitch badder than me out here. If there is, go find her.
When I came on here and said, black people, stay out of them streets, don't join them ICE protests, I had so many Latinos in my comments, non-black Latinos in my comments talking about some black and brown unity. Why aren't you guys out there fighting with us? We've always stuck together, black and brown unity. And when I told those motherfuckers that they need to work on the anti-blackness in their community, I was gaslit. I was told that I was the problem. I was being divisive. Then I made this post saying that Latinos, Mexicans specifically, should not be using the N-word. Then I got all these comments from Latinos, non-black Latinos, and Mexicans specifically, telling me that they have a right to use the N-word, and what the hell are us black people gonna do about it? These are the comments that the algorithm caught. Take your time, scroll through them. I want you to see how our black and brown unity looks in real time. I want you to see what that black and brown unity looks like. I have so many comments like this on my post. But you know what I don't have? I don't have a bunch of non-black Latinos in the comments defending black people against nasty comments like this. The comments like this, no replies here. No reply, one reply here. I bet you it's probably a black person responding to them. No replies, one reply here. I got motherfuckers telling me that I'm talking real big from behind the camera because I'm telling non-black people not to use the N-word. Yeah, talking real big. Where are all the Latinos who swore up and down about black and brown unity and how there's no anti-blackness in their community and how we need to stick together? Where are y'all in my comments checking your fucking primos y primas? Where are you? Where are the Mexicans who had the nerve to sit in my face when I said we're not going out there to protest, talking about it's not us, it's the Cubans, it's the Dominicans, it's everybody but the Mexicans. But that whole entire fucking post is Mexicans in the comments telling black people how they're gonna use the N-word and we can't do shit about it. Where are all of y'all united black and brown unity folks who are gaslighting me about the anti-blackness when I said we need to stay off the streets as black people? Where are y'all? How come you're not in those comments checking those motherfuckers? You want us to show up for you and you can't even intervene and stop your racist friends and family members from being disrespectful in a comment section. The only people responding to those people and checking them is black people. What a shock. No Latinos in those comments. And then you have a tiny little handful of Latinos that are jumping up to say, that's not us. We're not like that. We're different. But you're not in any of those comments of the people who aren't different. You're not in any of those comments checking them. But yet I'm supposed to trust y'all enough to put my body on the line with the fucking terrorist ass police for your cause. Throw the solidarity out the window.
How long do we gotta take until one of these African Americans, one of us, you feel me, get caught up and being mistaken as illegal?
This is Jermaine Thomas. He's a Texas man born to U.S. soldiers on a military base, and he was deported. Now, his father is Jamaican and spent almost 20 years.
Why are these people being so disingenuous? See, if you're going to tell the story, tell it in the full context of it. Don't leave stuff out. We are fine black Americans. This guy right here, his mother is from Kenya and his father is from Jamaica. His father is from Jamaica. And it wasn't Supreme Court, it was appeals court. From what the guy that was speaking, it had appeals court in his background. Okay? But anyway, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. These brothers seem like very intelligent, college. They sound like they got doctorate degrees and everything. So I'm not knocking their education, but I am knocking them being very disingenuous, not just telling the truth. Black Americans, we are 14th Amendment babies. We are slave descendants. We are the emancipated people. This guy, I think his family wasn't even citizens of the United States. I don't even think so from what I read. Y'all look this up. Maybe I misread. But his father is Jamaican and his mother is Kenyan. And when his father came here in 87 or 89, he got arrested for domestic violence. So yes, they deported the son over there. It's the parents' fault for not making sure their son was citizens of the United States. They served in the military, but from what I read, from what it says right here, you can be a non-citizen and serve in the military. And they was born on foreign soil. Only people that would work for, let's say my mom and dad had me in Germany and that was in the military, I would still be classified as a citizen, because guess what? My mother and father are citizens. They come from an emancipated Negro background. They are slave descendants. I'm fine. They are part of the 14th Amendment. Why are these people lying like that? Anytime you hear a story about a black person got arrested for ICE, I always keep in mind, black people, where they family from. Where are they family from? Are they from Africa? Are they from the Caribbean? Or are they somewhere around the United States? Ask that question. These people being so disingenuous.
Hey JJ, so you're a troll, but I'm gonna use you as an example. I see so many people under my comments saying, well, take a DNA test, take a DNA test. Y'all know DNA tests are a scam. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you. Pay attention.
Ethnicity is really interesting, but it's also highly variable. And it's one of the things that's based on statistical analysis. And I think I do want to talk about this a bit, because a lot of the DNA tests are based on statistical analysis. It's not a direct test. Like the BRCA is a good example. If you get the full test from Myriad Genetics through your doctor, that is pretty certain. But if you just get the what's called a SNP test from 23andMe, that's much more questionable.
DNA kits can be great for connecting family members and finding relatives, but the science for ethnicity testing isn't as concrete. We reached out to both Ancestry DNA and 23andMe. Ancestry tells us it's incredibly unusual to find variations of this magnitude.
Loves DNA testing, and that's racists. Apparently, white nationalists are flocking to genetic tests, but some don't like what they find because often the tests reveal African ancestry.
I said, Rick, did you tell Oprah she was a Zulu? He goes, no, man, she made that up herself. I said, when the results come in, make her Zulu, man. You know? I said, you back there making it up anyway. Nobody believe you could take some spit and figure out a tribe? What, are you crazy?
It's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore.
DNA test. Because, surprise, there is no such thing as an Asian gene. There's no native gene. There's no African gene. 23andMe, Ancestry, they don't tell you about like what percentage ethnic group you are. It tells you about your particular sequence of A, C, G, T, because that is what DNA is. The pie chart they give you is fractions of estimates. It's saying that your sequence has a percent estimate chance of representing a certain area because it shares enough similarities to other sequences that might be common in this area.
Imagine the white folks lying yet again.
Listen to the chosen people, all of you out there who know that you originated on Turtle Island and that you are indigenous American. Cut it out with the labeling ourselves of fundamental black Americans. What that actually means is fundamental dead Americans. We are not that either. We're none of what they have said we are. We are indigenous Americans, period. That's what we're standing on. That's who we are. That's why we're coming back to take what was ours. Yes, they labeled us as black, and many of you have been indoctrinated to believe and use the term black. But just like Yahshua was dead for a moment and he raised in the third day, we are now raising back to take our true identity as the indigenous Americans, the aboriginals of this land, Turtle Island, period. And for everyone else, let them do what they do. Now, for everyone who is melanated, We are not going against you. We are just taking our stand as our tribe. Just as you, each and every one of you, have your tribe already. So you don't have to deal with what we're dealing with. We're not angry at you, and we're not separating. We're putting a stamp on our tribe, so then all the tribes can stand up again. There are the 13 tribes, and 2 of the tribes were lost. We were one of those that was lost. We're no longer lost. We're coming back into our awareness fully as the indigenous Americans. And Shatakote, knock it off. You're not fundamental nothing. You are indigenous Americans.
Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on, you wouldn't understand. The type of skits I'm on, you wouldn't understand.
So let's have a discussion about the Buffalo Soldiers and the real reason why the Buffalo Soldiers had no problems targeting the natives, because the natives right now are lying and bullshitting. So here's an article from the Smithsonian Magazine, how Native American slaveholders complicate the Trail of Tears narrative. So the Trail of Tears is actually not about the natives. It's about the black slaves the natives had who passed away, who had no choice. So tell the whole truth about the freaking Buffalo Soldier. And they quoted the Museum of the American Indian, and the curator at that time was Paul Chat Smith, who was a Comanche. And the Comanche were the same people, the main targets of the Buffalo Soldier. And as you can see this picture here from John Ross, the Cherokee chief who owned slaves. And the curator, who was again a Comanche, says, I used to like history, and sometimes I still do, but not most of the time. You want to know why? Because his people owned our people, and that's why my people slaughtered them. That's why. Because they wouldn't even free us after the fucking 13th Amendment was passed. That's why he don't like history no more. And as I showed yesterday from this Google AI search result, yes, the native tribes who owned black slaves encountered the Buffalo Soldiers. That is the context behind what my great granduncle said, Freeman McNeil, when he was whooping on that ass. No, his name was Freeman. Do you understand the name Freedman and Freeman? Do you know where that comes from? That's how you know that person was either a slave or they were the child of damn slaves. That's why the U.S. Army only deployed them against tribes who were known to enslave black people. So please, everyone caping for the goddamn natives, shut the fuck up. They were enslavers. And I find it very interesting how you'll talk so much shit about the Buffalo Soldiers. How could Beyonce wear a shirt symbolizing the Buffalo Soldiers? How could any native wear anything representing their fucking culture when they were enslavers? Ask that question. You ain't asking them that shit, but you want to criticize the Buffalo Soldiers now knowing the context? Anyone who does that who's black is a coon. Anyone who does it who is white is anti-black. And any native who's doing it, guess what? You are just continuing the same red-skinned white supremacy your people been doing. You threw the first punch, we threw the last goddamn punch. Now that's 43 million of us. At this point, there's not that many of you. So if you want to do a little round 2, let me the fuck know.
Some are trying to argue right now that Black Americans are trying to erase Native Americans' story. And one would say, if anything, Black Americans want to scream Native Americans' story. They want to scream it loud, and not just the parts that have been being screamed about. They want to scream the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because when you scream the story loud enough, you will then begin to uncover that foundational Black Americans and Black Indigenous Americans only want to tell their story that the Native Americans erased, along with Europeans. So where Africans are saying FBA stands for fear of being African, no one has a fear of being African. I don't know, I'm not going to speak for all Black Americans, but me in particular, I will say I acknowledge that my ancestors migrated out of Africa way before Europeans got here. What people don't want to admit is that, whether you want to admit it or not, because it's in text, it's written, and we can prove it. So what Black people, Black Americans, melanated Americans who understand their lineage need to do is stop yelling about it and just show the receipts. And on top of that, show up as yourself. So if we have to crack open a book and read them something, maybe they will gain more understanding, because many people haven't cracked open a book beyond their history book that was handed to them in high school. Okay, so now where we're screaming something that is written in books, it is documented. The government has it documented. Travelers and people who landed on this continent had it documented that dark-skinned people were already here, and not just to the east of the Mississippi, even on the West Coast, all the way in California. So where you guys want to gaslight us into thinking that we don't know what we know, not just textualized, but also internalized. We have been gaslit for so many years. And anytime, this is the first clue right here, soon as you hear the word, the identity, Black, African American, that is your first flag right there. Because anyone who knows anything about the Black American, the African American, you will understand that we were also the colored American, the Negro American, the freedman American, the Indian American, the mulatto American, and all before all of those reclassifications on census records over and over and over and over again. Once upon a time, we were a tribal nation. Now, I am not going to sit here and tell the Native Americans' story, because what I don't need is for them to tell our story. But when they do tell their story, what they need to do is tell the whole truth.
Saying that Black Americans are the real Indians isn't truth.
Yes, it is.
It's a result of deep generational brainwashing. It's colonial confusion, and it's internalized racism and anti-Blackness.
You just explained everything that happened to you guys in the 60s. Back then, you guys were forced into American U.S. government-owned public institutions to teach you that you were slaves and from Africa. But back then, you used to be in Black indigenous schools until you were forced out by desegregation.
By trying to find worth by claiming someone else's identity instead of embracing our own.
So why are you trying to be African? You guys aren't African.
Africa is not a myth. It's not lost. It's in our blood, spirit, and story. Let's please start running from that.
Honestly, I don't even know why you want to be African so badly. You guys don't know anything about their history, their culture, their religion, anything about them. Yet, you want to be African because the government told you in the 80s that you're African.
We don't have to rewrite anyone else's history to reclaim our own power.
Yes, you do. That's what happened to you.
Geographically and historically, Africa is where our roots are, and I am not ashamed to say that, even though I have never been to Africa. West Africa is where most enslaved Black people were taken from. That's documented, that's proven.
All right, prove it. Where's the slaves? Where's the slave ships? Where's any proof? I tried asking ChatGPT for any tangible proof, and they couldn't give me anything. I tried going on Wikipedia to look for real images of slave ships, and this is all they have.
You can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. So why are we rejecting our roots?
Roots was just a propaganda film to make you think you were an African slave, and it worked.
Malcolm X didn't tell us to become someone else. He told us to reconnect with Africa, because Africa is our homeland.
All right, name 10 Africans. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm replying to you. You look like you're AI and none of your videos look real.
You don't need to erase Native history to colonize theirs.
What if I told you you were the Native indigenous people who were wiped out from history? Huh? That's Elvis. And what do those people look like?
Your Honor, the prosecution presents Exhibit B, Part 1, The Vanishing Indian. This man, Edward S. Curtis, photographer? Nah, architect of erasure. He didn't just document, he staged, told them to take off modern clothes, remove signs of life, and dress like something out of a movie. Curtis sold the idea that the real Indian was dying out, not evolving, not existing. But the truth, they didn't vanish. They got erased, visually, politically, spiritually. And that erasure helped fuel paper genocide, land theft, and forced reclassification, all off a fake photo op. This wasn't art, it was identity theft with a camera.
Hope y'all know that Black people have been saying that they've been indigenous for a long time now. It wasn't because of the internet, it wasn't because of one person. black folks have always said they had Indian in their family. The only thing is that this McGraw-Hill education system has told people to disregard their families or traditions.
You know what's crazy? And we live in a world where if you are a black American, you get told that you have an identity crisis. We get told all of these things because we are nationalists too. And it's okay to be a black nationalist. If I was in Germany, which I was, over there in Europe, if you're an Italian, you're an Italian. If you're a German, you're a German. If you're Spanish, you're Spanish. But as soon as you come back to America and say, I'm a black American, I'm not from Africa, something's wrong with you then, right? Again, there is nothing wrong with being a black nationalist. If you are proud to be an American and you're black, there's nothing wrong with that. And to anybody that says otherwise, you don't know that person individually. So do not generalize all of us and throw us all in the same boat, especially a boat that never came here with African Slavs, okay? Calm down.
Some dude on the bus, and then I saw a buddy of mine. It's all right. It's okay there. Not my bus. I already told you what happened. Some dude wanted me to get out of my seat so he could sit there, and I let him have my seat.
So if everybody claims we all came out of Africa, why the fuck is Louisiana tied with Nubia, with the oldest civilization? So in 3500 BCE, you had the Tassiti rolled tombs made in Nubia, Sudan. But across the water in America, you also had the mounds of Watson Brake being made in Louisiana. And if that's the case, how different are the people in Africa than the people that were in America creating the mounds down in Louisiana? And what do you think they look like? Stay with me now, we getting there. And last time I checked, the oldest fossil found in Africa was black. And also the oldest fossil found in America was also black. So who came out of Africa? Now, I don't claim to know everything. I'm just asking questions. But what I do know is somebody ass is lying. Anyways, y'all boys, y'all stay up top.
I have a really big problem with people saying that these were the only Native Americans not Native, let me stop using that fucking word, that these were the only Indians that were wiped out. Let me tell you something, okay? These are Native Americans. They're not from America. I don't give a fuck about your feelings or how much you think that you're from here. It's not my fault that you were lied to for all those years. We are the true aboriginals of this land. The Indians of this land, the American Indians, look like me. That's a Native American from Siberia. Then his people came over here to wipe out mine and people that look like me history. The fuck are you talking about? Wake up.
I mean, if you were telling the truth, would it matter? Truth ends to defend itself. And typically in any other situation, I would agree with that. However, your truth may not be my truth, and my truth may not be your truth. It's like a relationship with your significant other, right? And you have an argument. Their truth may be just that, their truth. My truth will be mine. But what really matters is the facts. So when it's backed with facts, somebody's truth isn't real. And that's like going to court, right? You go to court and people present evidence. The reason why people are going to court because there's a disagreement. Someone else's truth or story doesn't match it with someone else's. There's a disagreement that caused some kind of bodily harm or financial harm. They present their evidence. The evidence proves whose truth was actual factual. They rhymed, not purposely, but it rhymed. So yes, in any other situation, you would be correct. However, your truth does not mean that it's facts. And I want us to think about that. When you are presented with facts, historical facts, evidence, archaeological facts, your truth no longer matters. Unless you're supporting all of the substantiated evidence and facts that is presented to you. Then the person
whose truth supports those facts actually wins. Hope that wasn't too complicated, but thank you. So if your truth is only based on your opinion or an assumption, and it cannot be a hypothesis, which is something that can be tested, then that truth cannot defend itself. Therefore, it makes it null and mute.
Easy. Like, did they really drop that man for a seat? That's crazy if they did. But nah, he did say Black Indians. Like, they're admitting it. There's a difference too. There's American Indians, and then there's Native Americans. We're American Indians. They're Native Americans. We was here first because black people was everywhere first. They was brought over. We're bringing proof to prove that. They're bringing nothing to rebuttal it besides racism and a whole bunch of hate. And that's a fact. You can check my comments for that. Well, probably not, because I don't deal with that. I don't want my people saying propaganda and bullshit, nor hate and just hateful rhetoric for no reason. Nah, I'm good on that. We're gonna spread the love and we're gonna spread the truth. You don't like that? Well, fuck you. But anyway, if you like the video, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, because every little bit helps. And we thank you guys so very much. I've been your boy Azrael. This has been another episode of Azrael Reacts, and I'll check you guys next time. Deuces.